Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Sam, and in today's video we're going to be starting another reading vlog. This week I wanted to do a video in which I am trying to see if I can finish off my monthly TBR. We are currently still in the middle of August, but I need to get back on track, you know? So I have 4 books left in my TBR, and the first one that I'm going to be starting with is Percy Jackson and the Olympians, Wrath of the Triple Goddess. This is the Senior Year Adventures Book 2 by Rick Riordan. This is just the dust jacket. I have the actual book packed in my bag to go to work today, and I have started this book already this morning. I'm 40 pages into it so far. It's very quick. This is a middle grade read. In the series, we're following Percy Jackson in grade 12, where he's trying to get recommendation letters so that he can go to college with the rest of his friends, his girlfriend. But he needs to get these recommendation letters from various gods to be able to get into this college. So this is book 2. This is going to take place around Halloween, which I probably could have, had I known, I probably would have read it closer to October or in October, but it kind of fits the vibe of like everybody starting to get into spooky season. I personally am very much still here for summer. I don't want summer to end. Summer's my favorite season. I love the warm weather, even though it's been unbearably hot. So it's not even been like a fun summer. But I have been excited for like the fall outfits and like fall drinks and stuff. So this would be a fun little nod to that, I guess. So in this one, it is Halloween week, and we are following Percy Jackson, Grover, and Annabeth while they have to pet sit for Hecate while she's off doing her like witchy goddess things. And it's pretty fun so far. It's just your classic like Percy Jackson humor and nods to current events and current things, I guess, like references. And I don't know, most of the time I don't like when authors add in too much of like pop culture references, but for some reason the way that Rick Riordan does it, it's just so funny. So that's been pretty fun so far. I think it's just over 300 pages, so it shouldn't take too long to read. But yeah, and then we'll move on to something else, which I'm not sure what I'm in the mood for yet, but let's focus on this, and I'll check in with you when I have an update. Hi everybody, happy Friday. I just did a bunch of filming for the next couple of weeks, but I wanted to give a check-in for Percy Jackson and the Wrath of the Triple Goddess. I am still just about halfway through this book. This book has been taking me way longer than expected or planned. I just have not been able to read that much. This week has just been a bit ridiculous. So hoping to finish this today. Definitely going to put some dedication into finishing this. I'm definitely still enjoying it. I think the humor is funny. It's very much like middle grade humor, if you know what I mean. Some of this is pretty gory or like descriptive, very like emotionally impactful. I don't know, it just feels like a bit more than what some of the other books in this world are like. But I'm also loving the references and where are my words? I don't know where any of my words are today. I've been loving the references and appearances of characters and events from previous books in this world again. It's just a lot of fun to be back with these characters and very nostalgic because I read these growing up. But yeah, having a good time. I think it's sweet. It's a pretty simple plot in terms of like what Percy is expected to do to get this recommendation letter. But obviously they get into a whole world of trouble and difficulties trying to accomplish it. But I think it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying my time, but yeah, definitely ready to be finished. I'm just yeah, let's just get back to reading and I'll give my final wrap up. Hi everybody, I wanted to do a check-in. There's still construction going on at my house, so hopefully there's no background noise. It's been a bit quiet here for a bit, so fingers crossed I can film this update and not have to be too bad. I just needed a brain break from work to do the check-in. Very late on Friday, I ended up finishing Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Wrath of the Triple Goddess, Senior Year Adventures, Book 2. I ended up really enjoying this. I think I rated this 4 or 4.5 stars. There was some very impactful emotional depth to this book that I feel like I don't remember having in other books. I don't know. It just ended up being a lot more than I expected it to be. I just kind of expected it to be like a silly middle grade nostalgic read, which it was, but it also definitely had some depth and important like discussions of just life at 18, life in the midst of change. I really loved this book. I think I pretty much said my piece on any of my last check-ins. I feel like in the middle of this book I was kind of ready to be finished with it, but absolutely love the way that it ended. I think it was just done really well, and it was just another great installment to this world, this series. Was so glad to be back with these characters again. And then honestly, I didn't really read as much over the weekend as I expected, but I did get halfway through Time of Your Life by Jessa Hastings. This is book 1 in her new series following Isolde and Joa. So this is set in the 90s where Joa is the main like lead singer of this band and Isolde is like a famous model, and they kind of instantly feel this sort of attraction and connection between each other, but also they're very well known, very famous, like London celebrities. And so there's definitely some drama. Joa has some, I feel like it's just stuff that he's dealing with that's causing him to kind of act out in the way that he does. Obviously, I am only halfway through this first book, and I feel like with Magnolia Parks, like that really deep connection to these characters didn't really take place until sort of the latter half or later on in the series. So I just don't quite feel super connected to these characters. It's very much insta love, very much some sort of an attachment, and I feel like I can't judge them until I get more of an explanation as to what is going on. As always, Jessa Hastings' writing is just phenomenal. It just feels like you are in the characters' heads, or at the very least, like in their friend group and getting the like intimate details of what is actually going on. Like you're having a friend debrief. I just feel like it's gonna be very emotionally impactful, very messy. I also feel like I'm not really getting all of the 90s references necessarily because I was born at the very end of the 90s. So I feel like if you were a bit older than I am and had more of a connection with the 90s, I feel like this might be even more impactful to you. But so far, it's kind of one of those books where it feels like nothing is really happening currently, but at the same time, I can't put it down. I just wanted to keep reading and find out what was coming, what was going on, how the various relationships are going to develop. There's also a like pronunciation guide in the beginning for Mancunian. Is that how you pronounce that? Joa is from Manchester, so there's some of the words that he says. It sounds like they are going to be banging away for a while. So I'm going to wrap up this check-in here, and I'll touch base once I finish Time of Your Life, hopefully today, but we'll see how the rest of the day plays out. Hi everybody, happy Wednesday. I keep going to say that it's Thursday. It is not Thursday, but I wanted to do a check-in. Yesterday, I ended up finishing Time of Your Life by Jessa Hastings. I don't really know what to say about this book. I think I'm gonna settle on a 4-star, maybe a 3.5. I did enjoy this book. This had classic Jessa Hastings writing where you just really feel like you're in the characters' minds. You have intimate knowledge of what they're going through and sort of everything that's happening. And I just could not put it down. It was messy and very much like human reaction to various like making mistakes, trying to get back at people. It's like kind of your response when you're hurt. And also very interesting to see kind of a glimpse into the life behind like a famous rock star, even a model, sort of like what they're going through in relation to like when their fans are really excited to see them or they're at a concert or what have you. And the way that this was written was also very interesting because between some of the chapters, there are like magazine or like news articles. Of course, I can't find one right now. Like this. And so that was really interesting. You got to see like personally what was actually happening to these characters at the time, why they were maybe having the interviews that they did, or why they like, agreed to do an interview, sort of like the reasoning behind that, and also what they were going through personally as to why they would have maybe answered questions a certain way or reacted a certain way. And then you also got to see the article itself when it came out and sort of how the media interprets what's going on, the speculation, the stirring up drama, and then again, after the article comes out, how our characters are reacting to it. But with this book, unlike her other series, I feel like with Magnolia Park specifically, our characters have a history together and we get to see that history. So you can really feel the bond between any of the characters in that. And I feel like this one, our characters are meeting like for the first time, at least our two main characters. And so, and it's very instant. It's like very much infatuation right from the jump. There's definitely a realisticness to it, but in terms of trying to read it, it's difficult to like really feel for the characters and feel the connection and everything and their bond because I don't feel like I have a firm understanding of the characters yet. Like we're still meaning for the characters for the first time, and although the way Jessa writes, I feel like I'm intimately in the characters' heads, but there's still a lot of information that we don't have. Does that make sense? Like our characters have a backstory that we are like our characters have a backstory and trauma and things that they're working through that we don't get initially or we don't get before our characters meet. And so it's just very difficult to be connected to them, I guess, for me personally. So I don't know. I definitely enjoyed it and I'm intrigued to see what she's going to do with the rest of the series. I feel like it's one of those books where I find it very difficult to rate the book on its own because I feel like as a series and as we get the complete picture, I will enjoy this book more. So, those are my very complex feelings about Time of Your Life by Jessa Hastings. Unfortunately, as it stands, I think it's one of my least favorite books that she has written so far, but I feel like the series could get very good depending on where she goes. I don't know 100% how many books are supposed to be in the series, 3, 4, something like that. I know there's going to be a part 2 at the very least. So that is Time of Your Life. I really enjoyed it. I definitely didn't want to put it down, and I was like needing to know what was going to happen next. And this morning I started Amid Clouds and Bones by Ella Fields. This is like a standalone romantasy, I think. I'm only like 25 pages in, so really don't know much about it, but we're following Mildred, who is at the very start 10 years old and has found out that she is destined to marry this Fae prince who is supposed to be like this horrible, awful guy because she is Fae, but the rest of her family is human. I don't know if her and her sister are like full siblings or if they're just half siblings. And Mildred is younger, so I'm just trying to figure out the family dynamics. Like did their stepmom come into the picture later, or is Mildred's stepmom her sister's mom? I feel like there's a complex family history that I'm just not grasping, and it's really like, is that one plot point that's like really just sticking with me. So hopefully we figure that out. Because yeah, just the bloodline magic fayness doesn't make sense. But yeah, in the first two chapters, so first chapter she is 10 and we see sort of her and the Fae Prince's initial interaction, and then chapter 2 is like a couple of years later and they interact again, and I feel like the banter is going to be so good. But also Prince is blonde, which is different. I think like all of the Fae may be blonde. That's like a defining feature, but there's some political war things going on between two different areas of the Fae lands or something. I don't know. Like I said, very much not far into this book so far, but I am intrigued. I think it's just about 400 pages, so hopefully it won't be, hopefully it'll be a bit of a quicker read, and hopefully I can get some good reading done today. I need some like solid reading time. Work has just been incredibly chaotic the last like week or so, and I need a break. Hopefully it's not too crazy busy today and I can properly de-stress later. Get some good reading done. Emily and I think, are also starting a new buddy read today, so we'll see how much reading I can actually get done. Making no promises to myself. Just hoping for the best. Hi everybody, I wanted to give a quick update. It is now Friday and I am 91 pages into Amid Clouds and Bones by Ella Fields. I don't know if it's just me or if it's the book, but I'm having a really hard time getting through this one and finding the desire to kind of read this one. The relationship is very physical and also a lot darker than I expected it to be. There's also this kind of underlying plot about war. I don't know if I've just been missing what is going on, but I don't know what's going on. There's decent banter, kind of that like enemies sort of vibe. Like neither of them wanted to be in this arranged marriage, but they're there for like political reasons. But also our main character is kind of terrible. So having a hard time like rooting for them. So I'm going to keep reading and we will see how it goes. I should be able to read a bunch this weekend, but we'll see how I'm feeling. I also need to read Electric Idol in this video by Katie Robert, which is the last book on my TBR, and I really wanted to finish that by Monday, for this video, and also so that I still have like a week to read whatever I want, which I haven't been able to do that in such a long time. I don't know what I'm going to pick. That's kind of how I'm feeling so far, and I wanted to just check in before the weekend because I don't usually film anything on the weekend. Kind of struggling with it, but also like at points having a good time. I just really have not found a good balance with going to the office and also being able to have good uninterrupted reading time. And so I just really need some good uninterrupted reading time. So hopefully I will get some motivation this weekend and be able to fly through sort of the rest of it. But that's kind of where I'm sitting right now, and I will pick up with you on Monday. Hi everybody, so I am once again in the 11th hour trying to finish a book for this reading vlog. I'm still trying to finish Amid Clouds and Bones by Ella Fields. I have only about 30 pages or so left, so I wanted to do just my last check-in and wrap up this video. Unfortunately, I didn't get the last book included in this reading vlog as I hoped, but this is at fault. I think I'm going to settle on like a 2 or 2.5 star rating for this book. I just never wanted to pick it up. It was moving very slowly, and then in part 2 it started to get a bit more interesting, but I still like couldn't root for any of the characters. None of our characters were very likable at all. I feel like they weren't trying to do much of anything. There's not really much romance. Like the romance really wasn't giving me anything that I wanted it to, and it felt like there was not enough world building for what the plot was trying to do. There's these like creatures and war going on, or some conflict that I don't, it could very well be a me problem, but I just could not figure out what was really going on. So unfortunately, this is very much not for me. Luckily, I still have a week left of the month, so I have plenty of time to finish that last book on my TBR, but yeah, just, I don't know. I just cannot seem to catch a break when it comes to reading and actually read what I want to read. Keep falling. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap up this video here so I can get this edited and up for you all. Hopefully my next reading vlog will turn out a little bit more to what I have planned. But at this moment I don't actually know what I'm gonna do and I need to start filming it, so we'll see. Might just be another mood reading vlog, you know, until I try to get a plan going. But that is everything for today's video. If you have read any of these books, please let me know. I would love to chat with you, hear your thoughts on them. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a like so that I know. If you would like to find me on the other corners of the internet, all of my links are linked down below. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one.